I'd like to share with you 3 or 4 books that give us a different look at how people in our community celebrate during this time of year. After listening to our students talk about the many ways they celebrated Thanksgiving, I thought, wow, I bet they celebrate Christmas just as differently as they did Thanksgiving. But I wanted to look for the common threads that connect my holiday of Hanukkah, the holiday of Christmas, and the many ways that Christmas is celebrated in different communities, and also Kwanzaa. And the one thing that really stood out was the fact that we all put an importance on light. If you'll look at the picture of this book on Kwanzaa, there is a candelabra that looks very much like a Hanukkah menorah. And the family is standing around and they light a new candle every night, just like we do for Hanukkah. Of course, Christmas has beautiful Christmas lights, candles, and then there is the celebration of Las Posadas. And of course, that is all about light and the birth of Jesus. In this Kwanzaa book, one of the things I really enjoyed was learning about the different principles for which each candle stood, such as unity, purpose, creativity. And each candle has a different color or groups of colors that also stand for something that's very important. So reading this to your students would give them a very good look at how some families celebrate this time of year and how important these things like purpose and creativity and unity are, and how we all want that for our families and friends. The second book that I really love is called Twas Noche Buena. And it is a take on Twas the Night Before Christmas. It's in English and in Spanish, and is a delightful story to read to your students. If you have a class where many children speak Spanish, but there are many who don't, this would be a great way to introduce them to some vocabulary that they can share and rejoice in the celebration of Christmas as it's done in all cultures. Another one that is built around the celebration of Las Posadas is Carlos Light the Farolito. And this is a story about Las Posadas and the fact that Carlos is lighting the lanterns and waiting for his grandfather to come home. His grandfather always plays the role of the innkeeper who turned Mary and Joseph away. Then he finally relents and lets them enter, and all the neighbors come through the door and they celebrate drinking hot chocolate and eating cookies and other delightful things. Carlos loves this holiday, and he likes the ceremony of lighting the farol, a tin and glass lantern that will guide the pilgrims in their procession. I think that a lot of these books highlight how important simple traditions such as this mean to our families, and how just doing those traditional things really highlights the beauty and the importance of the holiday. And it also builds beautiful memories with our children and helps them to be able to share those with their next generation. Perhaps, I think my favorite book about Las Posadas is Tommy Di Paola's The Night of Las Posadas, which reads more like a legend than the other books do. It's a beautiful story about how Sister Angie, who has organized the Las Posadas celebration every year, is sick. And her niece and nephew decide to take her place and play the parts of Mary and Joseph. It is then that something very beautiful and magical happens. Of course, in any of his books, there is beautiful artwork and the story of the celebration of this very special way to celebrate Christmas Eve. I hope that you will share these books with your students. And, they're really good ones to compare and contrast, not necessarily the holiday itself or the way that we celebrate it, but how the author represents the celebration of holidays. And to look for that common thread. You could even make a heart map on all the different ways that people celebrate and the things that they do that is special to them, but is also very similar to the way that other communities and cultures celebrate. In this beautiful season that brings so many different people to celebrate the things that are important in their lives, I hope that you will share these beautiful books. And of course, while you're doing that, enjoy this beautiful time of year and have a happy holiday.